All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I am Saira Mujtaba and with me is Prashant Kumar Sinha. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address inaugural session of first All India District Legal Services Authorities meet in New Delhi this morning. Prime Minister to launch Power Ministry's flagship revamped distribution sector scheme this afternoon. To also inaugurate and lay foundation stone of several green energy projects of NTPC worth over 5,200 crore rupees. Home Minister Amit Shah to address National Conference on Drug Trafficking and National Security in Chandigarh today. Union Minister Narendra Singh Tomar to present Agriculture Infrastructure Fund Awards in New Delhi today. Prime Minister Modi speaks to UN Chief over death of 2 Indian peacekeepers in Congo, calls for speedy probe to bring perpetrators of attack to justice. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar calls for addressing energy and food crisis at SCO Foreign Ministers meeting in Tashkent, says zero tolerance for terrorism in all its manifestations is a must. At Commonwealth Games, Indian contingent begins campaign in Birmingham with a bang. Swimmer Srihari Natraj qualifies for final of 100-meter backstroke event. In table tennis, Indian men's and women's teams book quarter-final berths. And in cricket, India defeat West Indies by 68 runs in first T20 International to take a 1-0 lead in 5-match series. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the inaugural session of the first All India District Legal Services Authorities meet in New Delhi at 10 a.m. today. The first ever national level meet of District Legal Services Authorities DLSAs is being organized at Vigyan Bhavan by National Legal Services Authority. The meet will deliberate on creation of an integrated procedure to bring homogeneity and synchronization across DLSAs. There are a total of 676 District Legal Services Authorities in the country. They are headed by the District Judge who acts as Chairman of the authority. Through DLSAs and State Legal Services Authorities, various legal aid and awareness programs are implemented by National Legal Services Authority. The DLSAs also contribute towards reducing the burden on courts by regulating the Lok Adalats conducted by NALSA. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will launch the Power Ministry's flagship revamped distribution sector scheme today. Mr. Modi will unveil the scheme during a program marking the culmination of Ujjwal Bharat, Ujjwal Bhavishya Power at 2047 at 12:30 p.m. through video conferencing. The 5-day program that concludes today is part of the ongoing Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav to showcase the transformation in the power sector achieved in the last 8 years. The revamped distribution sector scheme to be launched today aims at improving the operational efficiencies and financial sustainability of the distribution companies or DISCOMs and power departments. With an outlay of over 3 lakh crore rupees over a period of 5 years from financial year 2021-22 to 2025-26, the objective of the scheme is to provide financial assistance to DISCOMs for modernization and strengthening of distribution infrastructure, focusing on improvement of the reliability and quality of supply to end consumers. During the program, the Prime Minister will also dedicate and lay the foundation stone of various green energy projects of National Thermal Power Corporation NTPC Limited worth over 5,200 crore rupees. Mr. Modi will also launch National Solar Rooftop Portal on the occasion. More details from our correspondent.
The central government has taken multiple path-breaking initiatives to bring reforms in the power sector in the last 8 years. These reforms have transformed the sector with an objective to provide affordable electricity to all. Under the Pradhan Mantri Sahaj Bijli Har Ghar Yojana, over 2,86 lakh households have been electrified so far. Intensive efforts have also been made for electrification of 18,000 villages which didn't have access to electricity earlier. Another scheme, Ujjwal Discom Assurance Yojana, was launched with an aim to improve the operational and financial condition of state-owned power distribution utilities. As a result, state power distribution utilities have reported improvement in their efficiency and financial structure. The Power Ministry has notified the Electricity Right of Consumers Rules 2020 with the belief that the consumers have right to get the reliable services and quality electricity. Bhupendra Singh, Air News, New Delhi.
Union Home Minister Amit Shah will address the National Conference on Drug Trafficking and National Security in Chandigarh today. The Chief Ministers of Haryana, Himachal Pradesh and Punjab, the Administrator of Chandigarh, officers from the Border Security Force, National Investigation Agency and Narcotics Control Bureau NCB, as well as Anti-Naxal Task Force chiefs of the respective states and Narco Coordination Center NCORD members will also be present at the conference. Talking to AIR News, DG Narcotics Control Bureau SN Pradhan said,
"Today is an unprecedented occasion where the Honorable Home Minister himself, under his direction, has directed the organization of a national conference linking drug trafficking with national security in India, and it is also an occasion for launching several initiatives like the National Coordination Portal, also the launch of Nidan, which is a narco offenders database, the launch of the Narco Benign Pool, similarly to launch the office cum residence complex of the Chandigarh Zonal Office, and what is most interesting, he is going to lead the destruction of the seized narcotics, and of which 1 lakh kilos are being targeted by 15th of August, of which 31,000 will be destroyed online live by Honorable Minister Shri Amit Shah, the Union Home Minister.
Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar will give away Agriculture Infrastructure Fund awards in New Delhi today. The Agriculture Infrastructure Fund was launched 2 years ago under the ambitious Atmanirbhar Bharat package as a dedicated central government scheme that provides medium to long-term credit facility for investment in creation of post-harvest management infrastructure and community farming assets. Our correspondent reports that as of now, out of more than 23,000 applications received on the integrated portal of Agri Infra Fund, a total of 13,700 applicants have been sanctioned over 10,000 crore rupees.
BJP National President JP Nadda will inaugurate the 2-day joint National Executive Meeting of party's 7 frontal organizations in Patna today. Mr. Nadda will also address the National Executive Meeting of party functionaries. Congress leader Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary has apologized to President Draupadi Murmu over his alleged objectionable remark about her. In a letter to the President yesterday, the leader of Congress party in Lok Sabha expressed regret for mistakenly using an incorrect word to describe President Murmu's position. He assured that it was a slip of tongue. Prime Minister Narendra Modi held a telephonic conversation with the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres yesterday. Both leaders discussed the recent attack on the UN Organization Stabilization Mission in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, MONUSCO, where 2 Indian peacekeepers were martyred. Prime Minister Modi urged the UN chief to ensure expeditious investigations to bring the perpetrators of the attack to justice. Mr. Modi also underscored India's abiding commitment to UN peacekeeping, with more than 250,000 Indian peacekeepers having served under UN peacekeeping missions so far. 177 Indian peacekeepers have made the supreme sacrifice while serving in UN peacekeeping missions, the largest by any troop contributing country.
All India Radio News has launched a weekly interactive program, Abhyas, for competitive examinations. It is aimed at reaching out to students and job seekers preparing for competitive examinations. The program is in Hindi and is broadcast every Saturday between 9:30 to 10 p.m. Every week a subject is chosen. Students can ask questions through WhatsApp or email, and the guest speaker or expert responds to their queries. Questions on each subject are selected on the basis of crowdsourcing from students across the country. The program also includes segments like Explainer, Fact File, Examination Calendar, and Question of the Week. The 18th episode of the program will be aired today. The topic for this episode is economics. All India Radio News has got an overwhelming response for the show with questions received from across the country. Dr. Narendra Thakur, Associate Professor, Department of Economics, Bhimrao Ambedkar College, University of Delhi, will be responding to queries of the aspirants. This episode of Abhyas will be on air at 100.1 FM Gold from 9:30 to 10 p.m. today. You can access it on Twitter at AIR News Alerts or on AIR News official YouTube channel and also on the News on AIR app. Also, for the next episode, scheduled for the 6th of August, the subject chosen is political science. Students can send their queries on WhatsApp number 928-909-4044 or email on abhyas.air@gmail.com. The deadline for submission of questions is the 3rd of August. So join us at All India Radio News for Abhyas every Saturday at 9:30 p.m. on 100.1 FM Gold. The News Services Division of All India Radio will bring our listeners an exclusive interview with Anil Kumar Jain, Secretary in the Ministry of Coal, in the program Spotlight tonight. Talking to AIR News, the Coal Secretary highlighted the crisis faced by the energy sector owing to the COVID situation, its deft handling and the key learnings to overcome any such future challenges.
We have pressed into action the private sector and the non-CIL coal sector who were given mines. We have been allotting coal mines. So for the last 2 years, we have been working very hard with the states, with these allottees. We are trying to remove all regulatory hurdles. Their production this year against what was 89 million tons last year is going to be about 140 million tons this year.
This interview can be heard on the FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:15 p.m. onwards. This will also be available on our website newsonair.nic.gov.in and on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official.
News just in. In Jammu and Kashmir, security forces have arrested 2 hybrid terrorists linked to Lashkar-e-Taiba elite outfit from Kupwara district. In a joint operation, the Kupwara Police and Army's 28 Rashtriya Rifles also recovered 4 pistols, 8 pistol magazines, 130 pistol rounds and 10 hand grenades from their possession during the arrest. Meanwhile, an encounter erupted at Wani Gambara area of Baramulla district in the wee hours today. The gunfight between the terrorists and the security forces was underway when reports last came in. Further details are awaited.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address inaugural session of first All India District Legal Services Authorities meet in New Delhi this morning. Prime Minister to launch Power Ministry's flagship revamped distribution sector scheme this afternoon, to also inaugurate and lay foundation stone of several green energy projects of NTPC worth over 5,200 crore rupees. Home Minister Amit Shah to address National Conference on Drug Trafficking and National Security in Chandigarh today. Union Minister Narendra Singh Tomar to present Agriculture Infrastructure Fund Awards in New Delhi today. Prime Minister Modi speaks to UN Chief over death of 2 Indian peacekeepers in Congo, calls for speedy probe to bring perpetrators of attack to justice. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar calls for addressing energy and food crisis at SCO Foreign Ministers meeting in Tashkent, says zero tolerance for terrorism in all its manifestations is a must. At Commonwealth Games, Indian contingent begins campaign in Birmingham with a bag swimmer Srihari Nataraj qualifies for final of 100-meter backstroke event. In table tennis, Indian men's and women's team book quarter-final berths, and in cricket, India defeat the West Indies by 68 runs in the first T20 International to take a 1-0 lead in the 5-match series. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
क्या आप वरिष्ठ नागरिक हैं? क्या आपके मन में सेहत, आर्थिक, सामाजिक या भावनात्मक मुद्दों से जुड़ा कोई सवाल है? आकाशवाणी आपके लिए लेकर आया है कार्यक्रम एक कदम और बुजुर्गों के लिए, हर रविवार रात 9:30 बजे FM गोल्ड पर। आप अपने सवाल हमें व्हाट्सएप नंबर 9289094044 पर भेज सकते हैं या इस पते पर ईमेल कर सकते हैं एक कदम और airnews@gmail.com।
अपने बिजनेस को बढ़ाने के लिए लीजिए आकाशवाणी का सहयोग और दीजिए उसे बुलंदियों के पंख।
आपका बिजनेस लोकल है या राष्ट्रीय, आकाशवाणी देती है उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का हर विकल्प।
और अब तो आप घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे कर सकते हैं आकाशवाणी के किसी भी केंद्र के लिए विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न चैनलों पर विज्ञापन देना सुलभ और सस्ता।
बुकिंग है तो संपर्क करें 8700014242 पर।
8700014242।
Welcome back. You're listening to Morning News. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has called for urgently addressing the energy and food crisis that the world is facing today due to disruptions from the COVID pandemic and the Ukraine conflict. Dr. Jaishankar was speaking at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization SCO Foreign Ministers meeting at Tashkent in Uzbekistan yesterday. The minister said that the response required to address these challenges includes resilient and diversified supply chains as well as reformed multilateralism. He stressed that zero tolerance for terrorism in all its manifestations is a must. Dr. Jaishankar reiterated India's position on Afghanistan and highlighted the humanitarian support given by India, including wheat, medicines, vaccines and clothing. He also underlined the potential of Chabahar port for SCO's economic future. The External Affairs Minister spoke about the economic progress in India, stressing the relevance of startups and innovation. Apart from India, foreign ministers of China, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Pakistan, Russia, Tajikistan and Uzbekistan also participated in the meeting. And now let's listen to our special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव। Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News, Birth of a Nation.
India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
In today's episode, we remember Gandhian freedom fighter Gangadhar Rao Balkrishna Deshpande, who died on the 30th of July 1960. He played a prominent role in arousing feelings of patriotism amongst the people of Karnataka and Maharashtra.
Gangadhar Rao was born on the 31st of March 1871 in Belgaum, Karnataka. He was initially more inclined towards social reforms, but got inspired towards the freedom movement when he met Lokmanya Tilak. Referred to as the Lion of Karnataka, Gangadhar Rao led the youth of Karnataka in the struggle for Swaraj.
After the death of Tilak, Deshpande looked upon Gandhiji as a natural successor of Tilak's vision and philosophy. When Gandhiji started the Salt Satyagraha movement, Deshpande too defied the law by selling contraband salt and was arrested.
He was called the Khadi Bhagiratha of Karnataka as he went from village to village, creating awareness about the Khadi movement.
Due to the leadership of Gangadhar Rao, the residents of Belgaum participated enthusiastically in the Quit India movement in 1942. The effective organization and implementation of the Quit India movement in Belgaum and its surrounding districts soon came to be known as the Karnataka pattern, and this became popular in the entire country.
Gangadhar Rao Deshpande passed away on the 30th of July, 1960. AIR News salutes the great nationalist.
We also remember social reformer Muthulakshmi Reddy, who was born on the 30th of July 1886 in the erstwhile princely state of Pudukkottai, now in Tamil Nadu. A multifaceted personality, Muthulakshmi Reddy had several firsts to her credit. She was one of the first woman doctors of the country, the first woman member of the Madras Legislative Council, the first woman to be elected as its deputy chairperson, the first president of the Women's India Association,
and the first woman to be elected as alderman of the Madras Corporation. At the top of these achievements, she is known for her political activism in respect of social issues, including campaigning against child marriage and the Devadasi system.
Muthulakshmi's father, S. Narayanaswamy Iyer, the principal of Maharaja's College, was ostracized from his family because of his marriage to Muthulakshmi's mother, Chandrammal, a Devadasi. She developed a close relationship with the maternal side of her family, and this closeness made her very perceptive of the Devadasi community and their issues. Narayanaswamy Iyer broke the tradition and sent Muthulakshmi to school.
When Muthulakshmi passed the matriculation exam, she applied for admission to Maharaja's College, but her application was not welcomed as the authorities felt she might demoralize the male students. However, the Maharaja of Pudukkottai ignored these objections and gave her a scholarship.
During her college years, Muthulakshmi met Sarojini Naidu and began to attend women's meetings. The two great personalities who influenced her life were Mahatma Gandhi and Annie Besant.
In 1930, Muthulakshmi Reddy introduced in the Madras Legislative Council a bill which later became the Devadasi Abolition Act. The bill had to wait for over 15 years to become an act.
Muthulakshmi Reddy continued to work for the empowerment of women till her death on the 22nd of July, 1968. AIR News salutes the great daughter of India.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
As part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, All India Radio News brings its listeners a special quiz on India's freedom movement and its glorious history. The next question of Amrit Mahotsav quiz will be shared with the listeners on Monday, the 1st of August. Celebrate 75 years of India's independence by participating in Amrit Mahotsav quiz with AIR News.
अब हर घर की छत पर शान से फहरेगा तिरंगा, गुनगुनाए जाएंगे नव विकास के गीत, आन बान शान का प्रतीक राष्ट्रध्वज तिरंगा। आइए आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव के पावन अवसर पर इस स्वाधीनता दिवस हर घर फहराते हैं तिरंगा और लेते हैं भव्य और सशक्त भारत के निर्माण का संकल्प।
आइए हर घर फहराएं तिरंगा।
At the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, the Indian contingent started off its campaign with a bang in table tennis. Defending champions India came up with a dominant show on the opening day yesterday. Both men's and the women's teams booked berths in the quarterfinals of their respective events with 2 wins each. The Indian men's team outclassed Singapore 3-0 after they beat Barbados by a similar margin in their first 2 ties in Group 3. They booked the top spot with 2 victories from as many ties. On the other hand, Indian women's team clinched comprehensive wins against South Africa and Fiji to progress to the quarterfinals. India were comfortably on top of Group 2. The Indian women's hockey team were also off to a winning start with a 5-0 victory over Ghana in their Pool A game. In badminton, India thrashed Pakistan 5-0 in a mixed team Group A event. Ace boxer Shiva Thapa outclassed Pakistan's Suleiman Baloch to enter the pre-quarter-finals of the 63.5 kilogram category. In squash, India's youngest athlete at the Commonwealth Games, 14-year-old player Anahat Singh, advanced to the round of 32 by prevailing over Jada Ross of St. Vincent and the Grenadines 3-0. In men's singles, debutant Abhay Singh overpowered British Virgin Islands' Joe Chapman in the round of 64. In swimming, Srihari Natraj stormed into the final of the men's 100-meter backstroke event by clocking 54.55 seconds to finish fourth in the second semi-finals and seventh overall. The final is scheduled to be held later tonight.
Listen to Commonwealth Games quiz with AIR News Sportscan at 7:20 p.m. every day. All you have to do is reply to a question on the Commonwealth Games. Email your answers at airsportscan@gmail.com. The first correct answer will be selected as the winner and rewarded with a jersey of the Indian Commonwealth Games team. So keep cheering to India, listening to Sportscan at 7:20 p.m. on FM Gold 100.1 MHz and on our YouTube channel, News on AIR Official.
In cricket, India registered a resounding 68-run victory over the West Indies in their first T20 international at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy in Trinidad last night to take a 1-0 lead in the 5-match series. Chasing a target of 191, the West Indies were restricted to a total of 122 for 8 in the stipulated 20 overs.
In Jammu and Kashmir, Sri Amarnath Ji Yatra has resumed from both Baltal and Pahalgam routes. After remaining suspended for the last 2 days due to bad weather conditions, the Yatra resumed from Baltal side this morning. Over 1,000 pilgrims who left the Baltal base camp are heading towards the holy cave shrine of Sri Amarnath Ji to pay their obeisance.
गुफा में रहने वाले शिव भोलेनाथ की भक्त सब चल के आए शिव के दर्शन पाए सबके दुख हरने वाले.
About 2,88,000 pilgrims had paid their obeisance at the holy cave shrine till last evening. And now let's take a look at the weather forecast for today. National capital Delhi will have a generally cloudy sky with light rain. The temperature will hover between 25 and 33 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have a generally cloudy sky with light rain. Temperature will hover between 25 and 30 degrees Celsius. Chennai will have a partly cloudy sky with possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm. Minimum temperature was 27, while maximum will be 35 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will have a partly cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. The temperature will hover between 28 and 34 degrees Celsius. Srinagar will have a generally cloudy sky with light rain. Jammu will have thunderstorm with rain. Leh and Gilgit will have a generally cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Muzaffarabad will have thunderstorm with rain. Visakhapatnam will have a generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. In the ensuing row that erupted over Congress leaders' remarks, the top headline in the Tribune writes, Adhir apologizes to President, calls it slip of tongue, issue rocks Parliament again. The Pioneer headlines, delete anti-Irani tweets, High Court directs Congress leaders, adding Jairam Khera summoned after Smriti files 2 crore defamation suit. Papers have also widely covered PM's address at Anna University's convocation. The Statesman quotes the PM in its headline, India's position in global trade dynamics at its best. Final year medical students from countries such as China and Ukraine who were forced to return to India owing to the COVID-19 pandemic or the war will now be able to appear in foreign medical graduate examinations. And finally, prepping up for the Har Ghar Tiranga campaign, the Hindustan Times writes, flag units race against time for Independence Day orders.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Modi to address inaugural session of First All India District Legal Services Authorities meet in New Delhi this morning. Prime Minister to launch Power Ministry's flagship revamped distribution sector scheme this afternoon, to also inaugurate and lay foundation stone of several green energy projects of NTPC worth over 5,200 crore rupees. Home Minister Amit Shah to address National Conference on Drug Trafficking and National Security in Chandigarh today. Union Minister Narendra Singh Tomar to present Agriculture Infrastructure Fund Awards in New Delhi today. Prime Minister Modi speaks to UN chief over death of 2 Indian peacekeepers in Congo, calls for speedy probe to bring perpetrators of attack to justice. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar calls for addressing energy and food crisis at SCO Foreign Ministers meeting in Tashkent, says zero tolerance for terrorism in all its manifestations is a must. At CWG, Indian contingent begins campaign in Birmingham with a bang. Swimmer Srihari Natraj qualifies for final of 100 meters backstroke event. In table tennis, Indian men's and women's team book quarter-final berths. And in cricket, India defeat West Indies by 68 runs and take a 1-0 lead in 5-match series. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a great day.